So I got an assessment for art.
Now, you may be asking yourself, aren't you risking your entire assessment by making this crummy, unfunny, unoriginal video for YouTube?
Yes.
Since I don't have a screen recorder, what you're going to see is either me, the assessment notification and instructions, or both poorly edited together. The instructions are as followed. I'm to make a video of myself explaining my understanding of the similarities and differences between Italian futurism and French Dadaism. So it's been a week. Now, first of all, there are regional differences. I don't know why, don't know how, but everyone was high on nationalism like someone was doping for the Tour de France. But luckily, we are focusing on just Italian futurism and French Dadaism. First of all, we're just talking about Italian futurism. It all began in the 18th year of 1908 AD, when Italian man name got struck with the idea of futurism all the steering wheel of his car when he crashed into a ditch. Either way, he came out of that a changed man, and so 1 year later, he decided to do what any aspiring artist with a brand new idea would do. He made a manifesto about it and published it in a newspaper. In his movement, he wanted to emphasize speed, technology, youth, and violence, as well as objects such as the car, the aeroplane, stage 4 lung cancer, and the industrial city. When the all-new blockbuster movie World War I came out, most of the artists behind the movement died out, but after World War I, just like Germany, it had a revival called Second Futurism, and just like Germany, it became very political, leaning towards fascism. How that happens is way beyond me. Later, a group of artists moved to someplace in Switzerland I'm not bothered to pronounce and had a funny little idea.
Let's waste our time to make what is basically the anarchism of the artistic world, going against everything just to vent our discontent towards violence, war, and nationalism, but still maintain our political affiliations with radical left-wing and far-left politics.
And so Dadaism was born and became very popular in countries like France, Belgium, Germany, and Russia. Because, for the history nerds among you, you may have slowed down a bit, maybe rewind, you would have heard me say 1916. And fun fact, 1916 was when the National Hockey Association's Montreal Canadiens won their first Stanley Cup against the Pacific Coast Hockey Association Portland Rosebuds 3-2. And the entire world was at war and had been for like 2 years. And by this point, most of those countries I mentioned were probably bombed back to the Stone Age by now. The main point of these artistic movements were technology and violence and their feelings towards it. Futurism idolized technology and violence, saw technology like a gift from the gods, standing above nature, and violence necessary for human life. On the other hand were the Dadaists. They were like that one uncle you always had who was always skeptical about the person your cousin was dating because he hasn't gotten to know them yet.
Now, it was at this point I thought I was done. But then I deciphered the absolute mess of an assessment notification this is, and realised I have to now analyse two pieces of artwork, one from Futurism and one from Dadaism. And I have 4 days to film this, so please, God help me, please help me, why?
Since I'm lazy and need to get this done, I've decided that I will just pluck 2 images from Google and put them into the one place I know where I can get an analysis of it. Google Art and Cultures. Sorry if this is lazy, but I really had no time to do this. First of all, for Futurism, we got the unique forms of continuity in space. A sculpture made of bronze by yet another name I'm not bothered to pronounce in 1913, but it wasn't cast until 1972. The sculpture has the overall appearance of a human running at very fast speeds, with the geometric shapes probably being the wind being pushed aside as the human sprints forwards. It was made to illustrate the fast, streamlined nature of futurism, taking the streamlining of a car and trains and applying it to humans. Last of all, we have Dadaism. Now, I know what it may seem like, but trust me, you aren't seeing things. Someone got a urinal and called it art. And apart from possibly being some late night thought made to piss off some actual artists, the message behind this is rather simple. As a Dadaist, anything can be art. This is because, in theory, the artist has the intellectual power to make anything art. And since Dadaism is practically anti-art, this does work. Anything like this will make sense as a Dadaist piece of work. And that's all I know. I'm probably going to forget this all immediately after I finish this, but hey, at least you liked it. Please give me a good mark, I'll pay you $10 for an A.